My dad kept the fact that H is a half werewolf from me, while I'm just a human. 13. Secret set revelations. Amelia POV. Why does my heart hurt so much? Okay, I'm somewhere that smells like disinfectant products. Lying down on a soft surface, so I'd assume on a bed. I think someone is holding my hand. Wait. Oh my god. The wolves. How did I get here? Okay, let's start by opening my eyes. 1, 2. I slowly open my crusted eyes and am hit with an even bigger headache from how bright the room is. I look around and in a cream-colored room, with white machines and beeping noises. In guessing by the smell and simplicity of the room, in the hospital, I slowly turn my head to face the person who's holding my hand, and am met with the familiar blue eyes I've learned to love. Amelia, you're awake. Doctor, I hear Christian say. Sure is all I managed to blurt out. My head is still pounding. Christian hovers over me now and pulls me into him. I feel myself melting in his hold and he rests his head in the crook of my neck. Wait. He left me to fend with the wolves for myself. I push him off me with all the force I have left and glare at him. What the hell? You left me to fend with those wolves. I say and smack him on the shoulder. His face is flooded in confusion at first and then eventually a smile grows on his face, followed by a snicker. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I was there with you the whole time, he replies, holding back a smile. I stare at him in confusion. How was he there with me? There was only a big black wolf that helped me now. A wolf saved me. You saved your own ass, I reply coldly. How could he say he protected me if even I opened my eyes he was gone like the wind? Look at me, Amelia. And locks eyes with me. I stare into his beautiful blue orbs, wondering what HE's talking about. Wait. No, that's crazy. I mean, the black wolf does have similar blue eyes to Christian, but that's impossible. I must be really bumped my head if I'm considering Christian is that wolf. Only by his eye color. I let out a giggle. I have no idea what you're trying to say here, I say. Still giggling. There's no way a man can turn into a wolf. Even though I did feel the same warmth when I looked into the big wolf's eyes as I do Christian's. Amelia. I was the wolf, he says, looking dead serious. Oh, where's the cameras? Him's definitely on a P-ranking TV show. I continue to look at him, but I can't see anything but sincerity in his facial expression. Okay, and I'm a mermaid. Maybe I should pinch myself to get out of this weird dream, I say. Christian continues to look at me dead serious in the eye. Is there a possibility that this is actually true? Like it's impossible. But could Christian have been that wolf? I did only close my eyes for a second, and I would have seen Christian run away and that black wolf did appear out of nowhere. The color drains from my face. Amelia, I'm serious. We all are. I've even wanted to tell you since I met you. But your family wanted to wait a little while, he says. Still looking dead serious. What? Why family? What do you mean, my family? Jackson is a werewolf. He is part of my pack. Your dad is half werewolf. But you came out human, so he ever told you about it. That all of us are. Allie, Evelyn, Eleanor, Bentley, Justin and me, Christian says. This joke isn't funny anymore. Stop. This prank isn't funny anymore, Christian, I say coldly. There's no way my own father would lie to me about this. I'm sorry, Angel. Do you want to hear it from your dad? I mean, I can show you right here if you don't believe me, he says, with a guilty look on his face. Oh my god, HE's actually not lying. My family are wolves. My friends are wolves. They all lied to me. I feel my heart rate pick up and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. They lied to me. Calm down, please, Christian pleads. He picks me up and places me on his lap and cradles me. Okay, breathe in. Breathe out, Millie. Breathe in. Breathe out. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nobel. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Breathe in. Breathe out. Okay, better. Your dad is on his way, Christian says. I clutch onto his shirt and allow myself to relax in his arms. Maybe I feel so relaxed and warm around him because he's a werewolf. Then again, I don't feel this way with anyone else. Do you feel it? I ask in a whisper and look up at his ocean eyes. A big smile creeps on his face. Feel what, Angel, he says, still smiling like a little boy. The warmth, I reply simply. I guess he liked my response because he pulls me even more and possibly close to his body. Oh baby, you have no idea, he says as he rests his head in my neck again. Our moment is interrupted quickly after the door slams open. Christian pulls me behind him and I hear a sort of growl coming from his chest. So all those times, I actually did hear a growl. Millie, thank God you're okay. Dad runs over to me and Christian. Dad, do you have anything you want to say to me? I reply coldly. I even break out of Christian's embrace. I'm still furious at both of them for breaking my trust. I'm sorry, Millie, for keeping this from you. I'm half wolf, so I can never shift, and your mother is human. So you were never around or kind enough for me to need to share it with you. Even when I brought you here, the last thing I thought was that you would be mated with one. I thought if it wasn't in your life, there was no reason to share this information with you. When Christian found you, I told everyone to not say anything until you graduated. I wanted you to have some normalcy before finding out all this. I'm sorry for lying to you, Millie, he says. What's a mate? Christian and my dad exchange a look. More like Christian glares at my dad and my dad has guilt washed over his face. I thought, well, I shouldn't be the one who explains that, Dad says. Nervousness in his voice. So you guys all lied to me for what? You thought I cowled and take it, didn't you? Well, that was not your decision to make. I raise my voice. Dad is about to open his mouth when I cut him off again. Now I wake up with a fat-ass headache and find out all my family and friends are lying to me. Enlighten me, Father. How does that make this situation better? I finish and lie back down on the bed. Note to self, don't raise voice if you don't want your head to feel like it's going to explode. I won't apologize for questioning your stability, Amelia. You remember what happened in Paris. I couldn't have that happen again. And this is a big secret, Dad explains. Of course he has to bring this up in front of Christian. I shoot him a glare. What happened in Paris, Christian asks. I scoff into Nova so I don't have to face either of them. Amelia, Dad says. Like I'm going to tell Christian that I got drunk and did drugs and partied every day until I almost permanently ruined my life. I curled into a ball, trying to fight back my tears. She didn't make the smartest decisions after her mother passed away. I could have lost a, Dad says simply. I can feel Christian tense, as HES sitting on the edge of the hospital bed, leaning on my legs. I want to be alone, I say simply. I can't face either of them right now, to be honest. My head hurts. I found out that I've been lied to by everyone I love, and now Dad is sharing my bad decisions with the one that I want a future with. Amelia. Dad says apologetically. Leah, it's okay, Christian adds. No, both of you out. Now I raise my voice. Both men get up and hurry out of the room. When the door finally shut, I let out a shaky breath. Tears fill my eyes and I break down. My whole life is falling apart. I understand why the others wanted to respect my father's wishes, but I can't believe Dad would lie to me. I thought once we moved here, we were past all the drama. My eyes become heavy from all the sobbing and I slowly drift off to sleep again. Christian, POV. She almost died. My mate. I could have never even had one. Now because of her father, she's mad at me too. I shortened to him and told her like I wanted to. I slowly shut the door, bending the doorknob from my force. What the hell happened in Paris? I grit out, glaring at him. I feel Xavier trying to push to the surface. I had specifically asked him if there was anything major I needed to worry about when it came to Amelia. I think she should tell you, David said. He lost every right in giving me his opinion after this whole stunt. No, I think you're going to tell me, I say coldly. I'm done with the lies. If it comes to the life of my mate, I want to know. It started a week after Margot died. Amelia would leave home for days at a time, only to come back wasted, or high off God knows what. I had been so occupied mourning my mate that I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have when it came to Amelia. After a month and a half of her behavior and it only deteriorating, I contacted one of her friends and she told me everything. Amelia was out partying every night, sleeping at God knows whose house, getting drunk every day and starting to take pills. As soon as I found out, I called around to get a location on her. As I was driving around, I got a call from the police and they had found her passed out on a park bench, with nothing but undergarments on. David says. He takes a shaky breath. I met up with them in the hospital and she had to get her stomach pumped and apparently barely had a pulse when she first arrived. After she spent a few days in the hospital, I sent her to a rehab for another month. She recovered fairly quickly, and now she has a therapist's number for if ever she needs to talk. David finishes. My Amelia was all alone in this. Her own father wore Stephen there for her during those times. No wonder she hardly ever talks about her life in Paris. She fell apart. Now I will be the one to help her get back together. My angel is a survivor. She's okay now. Honestly, that's all I can manage to say after hearing this. My poor Amelia. She beat her addiction in rehab, and hasn't relapsed since. Her health is back to normal and she's only called her therapist once upon moving here. Honestly, I think meeting you guys helped fill her heart again. I've let her go to parties, but she hasn't gotten drunk since the whole situation. He replies. We both sit there in silence for a little while. I try to process everything a little better now. I don't think she would ever relapse upon hearing there were werewolves. I do understand David didn't want to break her trust right away again. He just got her back. How is she Christian? My mom comes into the hallway. She's kicked us out. But judging by her heartbeat, I think she's sleeping right now, I reply. Don't worry about it too much. She just needs time to process everything, Mom replies. Her capability to make everything positive truly astounds me. Stephanie, do you think you could talk to her? I think she needs a mom right now. Margot would always know what to say when she was upset. I was mostly there to make them both laugh once Amelia was starting to feel better, David says weakly. Of course, David. It'll give her some time to rest first, my mom replies. David and my mom head to the cafeteria and I take a seat right outside my mate's door and start on my piling papers of packwork. Amelia POV. Hey sweetheart. How are you feeling? I awake from my nap to find the loving eyes of Christian's mother. Stephanie. Hey Steph. I guess I've been better, I reply. I know you must feel like you are going through this alone. But Leah, you aren't. You've got a whole damn army here for you. If you want to talk about how you're feeling. My ears are open, she says, smiling warmly at me. She reminds me a lot of Mom. I know Mom would have wanted me to talk about it too. It just hurts. To be lied to by everyone. For my dad to still see me as a ticking time bomb. Steph takes a seat beside me on the hospital bed and pulls me into a hug. Tears begin to prick my eyes again. I know, Leah. For what it's worth. Your dad does not see you as some fragile little girl. He knows you are stronger than anyone else. But as a parent, you will always worry for the well-being of your children, regardless of how capable and strong they are. We all thought that we were doing what's best for you. It was an accident. What happened in Paris. Yes, I did take all that stuff. But I didn't mean for it to get out so of hand. I am better now. You'll never let it happen again. I feel so embarrassed of it. Just I cowled and go back home to an empty and dark house every night. She was my best friend. Allowing the waterworks in my eyes flow. What's important is that you beat the hurt, Amelia. You recognize your faults and that's what makes you stronger. Just know. Now you have our entire village here for you. Christian especially. All he hopes for is that you are happy and feel loved. What's a mate? I heard my dad say something like I was Christian's mate. I ask her. She hesitates for a second before answering. I think Christian should be the one who explains the whole concept behind the word. But if you have any questions after your talk with him, he'll gladly answer them all. She replies, smiling at me. Why did those wolves attack us? I ask. Maybe she can answer that. Well, Christian is the leader of this pack, the Alpha. I guess they saw that he was alone with you and decided to attack. A pack without an Alpha or Luna will crumble. A Luna is an Alpha's mate. I am currently Luna, since Christian's dad was alpha before him, until you're ready to assume the role that is. What does a Luna do? Tons of things. We are kind of like a general motherly figure for the pack. We also balance out our mates, the alphas. Alphas have heightened emotions and often act impulsively. Lunas help wane them down a bit. We also attend meetings and help the alphas in any way we can to run the pack. Every good alpha has an even stronger Luna by his side. From what I've seen and heard, you're already a natural, she says. Holy crap, I have to help run a pack of wolves when I'm human. How am I a natural at running a pack of wolves? I am human, you know, I say with a light chuckle. Well, you're very protective of your own, which we've seen from how you interact with Eleanor. A team player we've seen when you play soccer. You're selfless. I learned that from when you gave young Hope the bear at the carnival. Plus, you're already a good fighter. The list is never ending, and you'll only develop more and more of those qualities the more you interact with our pack. It's automatic for you to have a tendency to be more protective and motherly to your own, as it's the pack's instinct to always protect you. Well, so I really have been clueless this entire time. Thank you, Steph, for being here for me. I reply. She sends me a warm smile. You can come to me anytime, Amelia, she replies. I'm going to leave you rest a little longer. If you need anything, just yell. Christian is right outside the door. She finishes. Could you send him in actually, please? She gives me a nod and smiles once again before exiting the room. Okay, well, I do need to process all of this. But I guess I understand why they didn't tell me. I just wish I didn't find out this way, honestly. Hey, are you feeling better? I hear Christian say as he walks in. He stays put by the door, waiting for me to invite him in. You can come closer. I've calmed down. Yes, your mom really helped, I reply. He gives me a reassuring grin and takes a seat beside my bed. I don't like that you guys lied, but I can understand why you did it. I will need time to properly process all this, though, I say. He held my hand. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Noban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. And if you have any questions, ask away, he replies. What's a mate? Apparently you're the guy to go to for this question, I say, giggling a little. He seems a little uneasy and nervous after hearing my question. A mate is a person's other half. With creating werewolves, the gods needed to find a way to keep them from losing all their humanity to their wolf sides, so they decided to use the tactic of love. Selene, the moon goddess, created mates. In the before life, while our souls are roaming freely, Selene observes each and every honest personalities and behaviors. With that knowledge, when it's time to bind a soul to a body, Selene also binds the soul with another soul in the realm. She takes two souls that complement each other in every way so that during their time on Earth, they become the best of themselves when reunited. Your mate is your soulmate, the one that complements you and brings out your absolute best. Your mate can be your biggest strength but also your biggest weakness, because there is nothing you wouldn't do to keep your mate happy. There comes the mate bond. Mates first recognize each other by their scent. You smell like lemon and vanilla. It's very intoxicating. Christian lets out a chuckle. Another way is by looking at each other's eyes. As eyes are the windows to one's soul, it's easy to recognize the instant connection because you are overwhelmed with a feeling of calmness when seeing each other. Kind of like how at last I've found you. Mates can also help calm down their other half, as just being around their scent and touching them brings an instant calmness and warmth. Most mates even feel like electric pulses or tingles when they touch. I don't really know much about how humans feel regarding mate bonds because it's quite rare for a wolf to be paired with a human, but most people don't question the bond. Selene never makes mistakes. Well, so I have a predetermined soulmate, and you and I are mates. I question. I already know the answer, but I need the validation. Yeah, but if you don't want this, I understand. I don't exactly know if the feelings are reciprocated for humans, so if you want out of this, just tell me, he says. I've felt nothing but happiness since I've met Christian, and the feeling is only getting intenser. While the idea is a lot to grasp, I'm not planning on leaving him anytime soon. Instead of responding with words, I lean up from the bed and pull his jaw towards me. He seems to be surprised by my movement as he cheers, looking at me with a questioned face. I lean in and kiss him. I hear him let out a growl in his chest and he grabs my thighs and pulls me onto his lap. My legs on each side of his legs. His hands run up and down my waist as I grasp the back of his neck. Calling him into me, he responds and kisses me even more passionately, our lips moving in perfect sync. I feel his tongue gently against my lips, asking for entrance. My mouth opens slightly and it enters at full force, my own and his intertwining in harmony. I hear a low growl come from him as his hands slide down to my butt and pull me closer. He parts from my lips and makes his way down my jaw and neck, planting a trail of kisses. I bite my tongue, holding in a moan. Suddenly I feel something sharp graze the skin on my neck and Christian pulls away from me. I look up to see him. His eyes pitch black. "Oh, it's happening?" I ask. Breathless. He doesn't reply. Instead, he gets off the hospital bed and turns away from me. Did I do something wrong? My heart clenches at the thought. After a few more seconds pass, he turns around and I'm met with the familiar blue eyes I love. "Sorry, Xavier. My wolf was trying to take control. I had to rein him back," and he says, walking back over to the bed. "Did I do something wrong?" Worried for the answer. Not the opposite, actually. The more heated, the more my wolf wants to mark you. Marking is where a wolf stakes his claim on their mate. They bite down on their mate's neck and it creates a mark, apparent for all wolves to see. The marking also amplifies the connection between both mates and puts each other's scent on each other permanently, he explains. "You have to bite me. I just found out about this all today. I'm not sure I'm ready for a permanent tattoo of him on my body." "Oh yeah, but we use the term marking. It's kind of like a permanent love bite. You can only do it on one part of the body. Apparently it only hurts for a second though. Then it feels good," he says. "I'm not sure I'm ready for that yet, Christian," I respond. I really like him, but that seems like a big step. There's no pressure for me to do that to you anytime soon. I would never force you into doing any of the rituals if you aren't ready. I'm willing to wait 100 years if it means I still get to spend time with you. Just there will be instances like what just happened, where I have to stop before my wolf takes over and does it. He has more primal urges, so it's harder for him to understand the concept of consent," Christian explains. "Oh, thank God. I can live with eventually. But right now I have enough to process. I think I feel the mate bond. Like when I see you, I feel relaxed and safe. When we touch, warmth electrifies all my body, and when I'm with you there's always butterflies in my stomach. When we kiss, I feel tingles on my lips. I feel home with you," I explain. His face lights up with my new information. He sits on the bed and pulls me into a hug. "You have no idea how much that means to me, Amelia," he replies, and kisses me on my forehead. We stay there for a few minutes in silence, enjoying each other's embrace, until a thought creeps into my mind. "Did my dad tell you about Paris?" I ask nervously. "Yes. But Amelia, I want you to know that doesn't change the way I feel about you. You went through something unimaginable. For you to come out of that entire experience happy and healthy proves how strong you are. I want you to know that I'm always here for you," he replies. My heart warms at his words. He still wants me. "Thank you" is all I manage to say. I let a yawn escape my lips. "You should rest some more. Your ears still run down," Christian says. "Okay. Will you stay here though?" I ask. "Tu es agent extraordinaire, Marilyn Nilbert. Heartfelt thanks for your unfading patience, enthusiasm." "Sleep well, angel," he replies. I lay back on him and rest my head on his chest, listening to the song of his beating heart. My eyes close instantly and I fall into a soundless slumber while Christian runs his hands through my hair. 14. Discharge. So how's my favorite little Luna doing today? Any headaches or nausea? I'm greeted by the bubbly drive. Denver this morning. I've been in the PAC clinic for 2 days now, and I'm praying he'll discharge me. Dad went to sleep at home, and Christian has been staying on a cot beside my bed. I tried to convince him to get some real sleep in his bed, but he insisted on staying with me. Right now HE is doing some work, so I was about to take a nap. I feel great. Like a new person, stronger than ever you know. I say convincingly. Truth is my head's if I move quickly, or if someone is really loud, but I need to get out of this room. From your charts, you look healthy enough to be discharged. I'll call over Christian and we'll get it sorted drive. Denver says. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Noble. Heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Could you call down Evelyn? I just convinced Christian to finally do some work and I don't want to bother him with my discharge. Maybe contact my dad too. I insist. These past few days I've learned much more about their pack, and how big Christian's role is. No wonder he can't do school anymore. Sounds good. The paperwork should only take a few minutes, and you'll fax it over to Christian's office. You're eager to go, but take it easy. No physical activity for at least 2 weeks. No more than an hour a day on any electronic devices, and make sure to notify your teachers if you get a headache at school. He finishes. Thanks for everything, Doc. I reply. He shoots me a smile and leaves the room. I jump out of bed and change into a pair of jogging pants that my dad brought in one of Christian's shirts. No hospital gown. Finally, jailbreak. Evelyn bursts in the room, wearing a big smile. 3 days is more than enough hospital time for me. Evelyn lets out a chuckle and guides me out of the hospital. I wave bye to all of the nurses and finally get a step outside in the fresh air. I take a moment to appreciate my newfound freedom. See him on Slowpoke. Your dad is waiting at our place. Evelyn calls me over. We both hop in the golf cart and she drives off towards the mansion. They drive around in golf carts on the pack land. I'll definitely have to convince the guys to let me test one out sooner than later. After a short 5-minute ride, we finally pull up to the familiar mansion. I am greeted by Jackson, Eleanor and my dad on the front steps. You're finally free, Ali exclaims. Her and Eleanor are up to give me a hug. Everyone visited me in the hospital every day when I was there. As much as I hate that they lied to me, I can't stay mad at them. Careful with her guys, Jackson says in the background. I learned that Jackson is the Delta of the pack, and will actually be spending a lot of time with me when I take on my role. One of his main duties now is keeping me safe. I still have not completely wrapped my head around this whole werewolf thing, to be honest, but I've decided to take it day by day. So Millie, are you ready to head home? Dad says as we all turn towards him and Jackson. I definitely miss my own bed, but being home means I'm not around everyone else anymore. Especially Christian. I've developed mixed feelings about the whole scenario. Yep, I'll just let Christian know I'm leaving first, I reply. Dad nods in agreement and we all step into the mansion. My dad, Ali, Eleanor and Evelyn all sit down on the couch while Jackson brings me to Christian's office. He has an office on this floor too, but his personal office is on his floor of the pack house. Him and Bentley share a floor to themselves. It's basically like a mini apartment up there. Only Bentley, Eleanor and Christian are allowed up there. And us, if we are invited. But seeing as though you are Christian's mate, it's basically your floor too. Jackson explains as we get on the elevator. He motions to a 6th floor button on the keypad. I was wondering why Evelyn and Ali didn't take me up there on my first tour of the house. Now it all makes sense. After a minute or so, we finally emerge on the 6th floor. The elevator doors open and am greeted by huge windows overlooking the wide range of greenery outside. Jackson and I both step off the elevator. I'm sure Christian will give you a tour sometime soon, but for now we'll just take you straight to his office, Jackson explains. I nod and follow him through the room. He turns left down a large hallway, with tall dark wood doors on each side. He knocks on the 3rd door to the left. Come in, I hear Christian's voice from the other side. Jackson pulls on the handle and motions for me to go in the door. As soon as I step in Christian's office, the door is shut behind me. It's beautiful in here. There's a huge black wooded bookcase behind Christian's desk, large windows overlooking the forest, a nice black leather couch, and more importantly a simple black desk, where Christian seems to be working on mountains of paperwork. "What are you doing out of bed, Angel? Did something happen?" Christian gets up from his seat and walks towards me worriedly. I can see him mentally scanning me for injuries. "Great news. Discharged. I just wanted to let you know that Dad's taking me home," I say. I see his face drop slightly. Honestly, we were both enjoying spending all the time together recently. "Okay, Leah. I want you to call me even if you feel the slightest under the weather, and you are always welcome to come here anytime, whether it be for a couple of hours, or even overnight," he says, looking at me sternly. "Don't worry, Mr. Micromanager. You'll be the first person on my emergency contact list." I joke, "When will I see you next?" It's going to be different now being around him so much. I've even found myself sleeping so much better by his side. I have quite a few meetings and paperwork to catch on during the next 2 days. "How about you sleep over on Friday?" he suggests. 3 days apart. That's doable. It'll need to rest and catch up on the school days I've missed anyways. "That sounds perfect," I reply. He pulls me into him and holds me tightly. Both of us enjoy the last of each other's comfort for a little while. After a little while, he lets me go and plants a kiss on my forehead. "Goodbye, my love. They'll be expecting updates at least every few hours," he says as we part ways. "Goodbye, Christian," I reply and walk out of his office. Jackson, who is still standing in front of the doorway to the office, nods to me and we make our way back downstairs. After a few minutes, we finally meet up with everyone else in the living room. "Take care of yourself, Leah. See you in a couple of days," Evelyn says. "We love you," Eleanor adds. I wave goodbye to both girls and Jackson. Dad and I exit the house and make our way home. I only live about 10 minutes from the pack house, so we got home pretty quickly. Dad grabbed my bags from the truck and we both entered the house. This have still been a little tense between us regarding the whole situation. We've talked it out, but I still need some time to process too. "How about you go grab a shower and nap for a little while?" Dad suggests. I guess my constant yawning in the car gave away my rundown state. "Yes, a good idea," I reply. He lets out a light chuckle. "I'll make some soup for dinner tonight," Dad says. I nod in approval and turn to make my way upstairs. I jump into the shower as soon as I walk in my bedroom, and wash away the clammy hospital smell. After my shower, I braid my hair in French braids and throw on a white cropped tank top with comfy grey sweatpants. Once I get out of my closet, I starfish on my bed and pass out as soon as my head hits the pillow. Guess what, guess what, guess what, Evelyn yells as she runs over to our table in the cafeteria. Eleanor, Allie, Justin, Jackson and I had just gotten seated when Evelyn started to run over. "What's up?" Justin says. They call each other by the first letter of each other's names. It's kinda cute. The theme for prom this year is happily ever after. Now we can buy big princess dresses. She squeals. Eleanor's face lights up in excitement, while Allie and I let out a little groan. I never wanted anything super puffy as my dress, but now since it's fairy tale themed, my options are limited. "I've always wanted to wear a princess dress," Eleanor says excitedly. Justin and Jackson quickly zone out of our conversation and talk about that coming football game. "This weekend we have to go shopping before all the other dresses get sold out." I say we go to a store in the city. Evelyn suggests. "Sounds great," I say, smiling. "Do you guys do proposals here?" Eleanor asks. "Some people do, yeah. If my Justin doesn't do one, he'll be sleeping on the couch until prom," Evelyn says, giving him a nudge on the shoulder. Justin smiles sheepishly. "I'll make sure Bentley does a grand one for you," Eleanor. I wink at her. A blush creeps onto her cheeks. "Are you coming over after school?" Allie asks. "Yep. Christian's picking me up to get my bag from home first, though." It's finally Friday and Christian and his first official sleepover, yay. It's not easy living with 2 boys all the time. "They're so serious that I never get to pick the movie," Eleanor says. I say we pull a prank on them tonight. I smiled deviously. "Justin and Jackson, you're sworn to secrecy." I look over at the boys. I knew Evelyn and Ali would never spoil it. But Justin and Jackson could have some sort of bro code I'm unaware of. Don't worry, we won't mention anything. Just get a video of whatever you guys do, Jackson says. Justin nods in agreement. Eleanor and I spent lunch plotting the perfect prank, with Ali and Evelyn's help. Eleanor was going to get the supplies while I was out with Christian, and we were going to send the boys out to get food while we prepare our masterpiece. The rest of the day went by incredibly slow. In English, I got another essay to write. I had to write a test in history, and finally we had a theory class in physics. I was antsy due to my anticipation for tonight. I haven't seen Christian at all since the day I got back home, so I'm excited to see him. Not that I'm the super dependent type, but the mate bond has proven to be quite influential. I finally packed my bag and walked out of school. As soon as I walked out the front doors, Christian's black BMW was clearly in my view, along with the Christian leaning on his card or looking down at his phone. I quickly walk over to him. "Good afternoon, sir. How are you on this fine day?" I say to him as I walk closer. He looks up from his phone instantly and flashes me his beautiful smile, showcasing his dimples. "Much better now that an angel has walked in my life," he replies with a smirk. He steps closer and pulls me into him. I'm surrounded by his familiar minty scent. I learned that mates have distinct scents only each other recognize. "I missed you," he says, as his face intucked in the crook of my neck. He kisses my neck softly and pulls out of our embrace. "I missed you to wolf," I snort. He gives me a "you serious" look, and I stick my tongue out at him. He opens his car door for me and I jump in my seat. Within seconds, HES in his seat and pulling out of the school parking lot. "How is being out for coming along?" I ask. "It's a lot of paperwork and meetings, but I enjoy it. It's nice having a purpose to the pack," he replies. Christian seems like the natural-born leader type, so I'm sure HE is great at leading the pack. It's crazy, I feel like I'm dating a CEO or something. "I'm really glad you like it though," I joke. He lets out a low chuckle. "How would you feel about it?" he asks. "What do you mean?" I respond with another question. "Being Luna, do you see yourself eventually accepting the role? Being by my side?" He clarifies. "Honestly, I don't know how some goddess thought I would be the best person for the job. For sure it will be a lot of adjustment, and I would want to take things slow. But I have already fallen in love with this place. And the people. Honestly, the thought of being in charge of over 8 people is quite scary. But with you, and your mom's help, I could be ready to accept the position. But would your kind even want a human as one of their leaders?" Honestly, the thought has crossed my mind too. I'm weaker than all of them and yet expected to lead them. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Noban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You're my mate. The people you've already met already like you. And the more pack members you meet, they'll accept you in no time, Amelia," he reassures. I look over to him and give him a smile. We pull into my driveway and I make my way into the house. Christian had to take a call, so he waited in the car. "Hey Dad, just came by to get my stuff," I say as I walk toward the kitchen. Weird, I swear I just heard a woman voice. I walk into the living room to see my dad sitting on the couch with a woman who looks around his age. She has shoulder-length thread hair and big brown doe eyes. "Oh, Amelia, hey." "Oh, this is Carrie," Dad says nervously. I look over at her and see her smile. Carrie, nice to meet you. How do you guys know each other?" Shooting Carrie a smile. "Carrie's helping me work on marketing for the gym. We met when I hired her for the job," Dad replies. Judging by the coffee cups and TV in the background, I highly doubt they were talking about marketing. "That's great. Well, Christian is waiting for me, so we'd better get going," I say. "Be careful, Millie. Text me later to let me know what you guys are up to." Dad replies. "Bye, Dad. Love you. And nice meeting you, Carrie," I say before leaving the room. "Nice meeting you too." She waves bye. I exit the room and run upstairs to grab my bag. Dad has a girl over. Dad has someone over. Of course I want Dad to be happy, and Mom would have wanted that too. but it seems pretty sudden. As soon as I grab my bag, I descend back downstairs, leave the house and jump into the car. What's wrong? Christian asks. I guess I gave a little away by my frown and lack of enthusiasm. My dad had a woman over when I walked in, I say simply. He looks over to me and grabs my hand. I'm sorry, Leah. I know how it can seem sudden, Christian says. It's not that I had a problem with Carrie. If anything, she seemed very nice. Just, Dad didn't even tell me about her. And I don't know if I want another female figure around us just yet. I'm not exactly sure what was happening between them. But it didn't seem like work business. No matter what, I want Dad to be happy though. I just didn't expect to see him with other women so soon. He nods in agreement. How about you talk to him about it next time you see him, he suggests. Yeah, that's probably what's best. Anyways, enough of this subject. What's the plans for tonight, I ask. Up to you, Angel. Your wish is my command, he says, giving me a wink, seeing as though we've both had big weeks. How about a night in? I suggest. That sounds perfect, he replies, flashing me a relieved smile. I figured HU'd be tired after all the work that's on his plate now. Soon enough, we pull into the driveway of the mansion. He turns off the car and grabs my bag from the back. We both walk out of the car and make our way into the house. Is that my favorite little human? I hear Stephanie say as soon as we walk inside. Stephanie and Tobias don't live in the pack house, but they still spend a lot of time here. Hey, Steph. I reply with a smile. After our talk earlier this week, I've been a lot more comfortable around her. She comes over and gives me a hug. I kindly return it before pulling away. You look like you're doing so much better. Anyways, I'll get out of your hair. Let me know if you guys need anything, she says. Thanks, Mom, Christian replies and gives her a kiss on the cheek. I've always admired Christian's family-oriented values. She is very protective of his loved ones. We both walk into the elevator, hand in hand, and get off on his floor. Finally, Eleanor says as she jumps up from being with Bentley and runs over to see us. Tout le matériel est dans the garde-robe, all the stuff is in the closet, she says as she subtly points to a door in the living room. What did she say? Christian asks. Hey Bentley, nice to see you again. Oh, she suggested you guys go and buy some Chinese food for the four of us while we choose a movie. I brush off the excuse. Eleanor sends me a wink for the good save. Hey Leah. Yeah, that sounds pretty great right now. Whose car are we taking? Chris Bentley asks, as he gets up from the couch. Yours. I just got in from driving around, Christian says as he sends me a little why didn't we stop before coming home look. Thanks, Christian, I say, giving him a kiss on the cheek. He rolls his eyes and heads back out with Bentley. As soon as the elevator doors close, Eleanor and I get to work. We had 20 minutes to put our plan in action. Okay, so they'll put the food on the counter. Then we tell them to wash their hands so they have to walk over to the bathroom. I start. They will catch the tripwire, which will make the glue fall on their heads. I gesture to the cans of glue carefully positioned on top of the bathroom door frame. And then with the falling of the buckets, it triggers the fan to turn on and the pile of gems and flower petals. Eleanor motions to the pile sitting on the bathroom counter. We'll flow right on them, she finishes. After being friends with Eleanor for a couple of weeks, we discovered we share a calm and envious side. Our pool men will look like a 5th grade arts and crafts project after our prank. It took us exactly 18 minutes to set up our prank, and add a camera hidden in the corner of the bathroom which had a perfect view of where the prank will take place. Just as we made our way back into the living room, the elevator bell dinged and the boys were back. Food's here, Bentley said as they entered the door. Smells amazing, I add, sniffing the air. The boys came into the kitchen and dropped the food on the countertop. They were just about to open the back when Eleanor swatted their hands away. Wash your hands first, boys, she teased. They both rolled their eyes, and in a huff they made their way to the bathroom. Eleanor and I were jumping in excitement while we saw them go towards the door. There's something about the adrenaline from when you're about to pull off a prank that excites me. We hear them both scream. Eleanor and I rush to the bathroom in giggles. What the fuck, I hear Christian yells. Why the fuck are we covered in flower shit, Bentley yells. Eleanor and I start laughing hysterically when we see them. The poor guys were completely covered in plastic gems and fake flowers. Amelia, Eleanor, they both yelled in unison when they turned to face us. Their faces red in anger. "We're giving you 5 seconds to run," Christian says in the calmest voice possible. Oh shit. It's always worse when they're so angry that they end up calm. Eleanor and I look at each other in fright and bolt down the halls of the apartment. I stumble a little at each corner I turn by. I don't have a clue where I'm going. Even though I am running as fast as I can, I hear heavy footsteps behind me quickening their pace. "You have not been a very nice mate, Angel," Christian says lowly. I let out a shriek when I feel 2 hands pick me up by my waist. I'm hunted over the very broad shoulders of Christian, with my face in direct view of his ass. "TSK, TSK, TSK. Now what will I do with you?" Still in a very calm voice, I let out a huff. "You can laugh at the prank and I'll help you get the glue off you," I suggest, hoping he won't retaliate even worse. I most definitely could, but where's the fun? I hear him reply. I hear Christian open up a door and am brought into a very hot room. Suddenly I'm thrown off his shoulders and my body submerges in hot water. Shit. Of course he has a jacuzzi on this floor. I jump back out of the water. My turn to glare at him, although I can hardly keep a straight face when my big bad wolf is covered in flowers and gems. "This will do for now. Just know you've started a war," he says with an evil smirk. 15. Unpetty Dijun, a far fell you. "Let's hurry. The glue is starting to dry," Christian says as he itches his. Flakes of glue falling off. I manage to wrap myself in a robe and take off my drenched clothes. He guides down the hall and into another room in the apartment. As soon as he opens it, I quickly register. This is his room. It's very masculine, with black walls and a black bed frame. There's huge windows overlooking the woods, a small couch area and a fireplace. They'll give you a more official tour of the floor. But for now, here's my room, he says nervously. It's beautiful. I love the windows, I reply. He sends me a grin. "CM on. You did this mess. Now you're helping me," he says as he pulls me into the bathroom. His bathroom is just as extravagant as his bedroom. White and black marble walls, a double sink, huge bathtub and a big glass shower. As I'm admiring the bathroom, I see Christian taking off his clothes. "Whoa, don't strip," I say, covering my eyes and blushing cheeks. "They'll stay in my boxers, don't worry," he says. I take my hands off my eyes and find myself admiring Christian's physique. He has crazy back muscles, which complement his taut skin perfectly. He turns around and I count 6, no 8-pack of ABS. My eyes move higher to his bulging biceps. I can't seem to keep my eyes off my Greek god of a man. "Like what you see, Angel," he says, smirking. You look up to see his face, amusement clear in his eyes. Yeah, get in the shower, Wolfie," I say, attempting to cover up my blushing cheeks. Damn, I got caught. He gets in the shower and I follow him, standing just outside the door. He hands me the shampoo and conditioner and I have a go at trying to get all the glue out of it. Maybe glue was the best idea. I have to grab a stool to stand on, just to reach his head. After 3 shampoo applications, and 2 conditioner applications, his hair was back at a silky state. "Remind me not to use glue again," I say, chuckling. He gives me a small glare. "There will be no more pranks again," he corrects me. I roll my eyes and make my way out of the bathroom to let him finish in the shower. I go over to my bag and change into my PJs while Christian is still in the shower. I bought a burgundy silk camisolo and matching shorts. After changing, I sit on the sofa overlooking the forest and wait for Christian to be finished in the shower. "I still feel sticky," he says as he walks out of the bathroom. I've never seen Christian in such relaxed attire. Achilles wearing grey jogging pants and a regular black t-shirt. "CM on, let's go eat dinner," I say, springing up from the couch. My stomach has been growling these past 5 minutes. As soon as I get up, I notice Christian eyeing me. "What's wrong?" Looking to see if there's something on my shirt. I feel a cool breeze come from the open window. I can't help the small shiver. "You're always wearing that when you come here," he says, still eyeing me. "Did you want a sweater?" He asks when he sees me shiver. If you don't mind, I reply. He nods and heads into his closet, coming back with a large black hoodie. He hands it over to me and I put it on. The sweatshirt is so big I can't even see my pajama bottoms. All right, let's go eat, he says, giving me a kiss on the forehead. He guides me through the halls, back into the kitchen. As soon as I walk in, I see a grumpy Bentley and a giggling Eleanor sitting at the table. Hey guys, I say. Bentley and Eleanor look up at us and smile. Hey Amelia, why is your hair wet? Eleanor says. Christian, I grab our dinner and bring it to the table, to sit and eat with Bentley and Eleanor. Oh, I just decided to jump into the jacuzzi with all my clothes on, I say. Glaring at Christian. He sends a glare back, pointing at her, meaning you did so much worse. Okay, cool. Eleanor tries to hold in a chuckle but fails miserably. Even Bentley lets out a laugh. Just be ready when we get you guys back, Christian says. And Bentley exchanges smirk. Can we invite everyone up to watch a movie? I turn to ask Christian. Sure. Just the guys are choosing the movie this time, Christian replies. Eleanor and I nod, agreeing to his terms. I expect to see someone pull up their phone to text the others, but they just continue to sit there eating. Aren't you guys going to text everyone to invite them up? They all look at each other. No, I can invite them using my mind. It's sort of like telepathy. A wolf can talk to, or we use the term mind link, to anyone in their pack. Christian explains. That's so cool. So you guys could like tell each other answers to a test and no one will know. That's so. I need a mind link. Yeah, but if you get caught you face a lot of consequences. So we rarely use it for those type of occasions, Bentley explains. We all finish our dinner and wash the dishes. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. We make our way on the couch and wait for the rest of the group to arrive. What movie are we watching? Eleanor asks. Bad Boys, Bentley replies to her. At least they chose a funny one. Christian grabs a knitted blanket and lies down beside me on the couch. He pulls me into him and places me between his legs, with my head resting on this chest. Woohoo movie night. I hear Jackson say as the elevator door opens. In the elevator are Evelyn, Justin, Allie and Jackson. They all get off the elevator and make their way onto the couch. So did you guys do it? Evelyn asks, looking at me and Eleanor. I jump up from sitting with Christian and race into the bathroom. I forgot we filmed it, yep. Even got it on camera. Returning from the bathroom. What? Christian and Bentley say in unison. They get up from the couch as well and walk over to see the camera. Christian uses his speed and grabs it right out of my hand. Hey, I yell as he takes it from me. This belongs to me. No one will ever see this, Christian says, leaving the room to go hide it somewhere, I'm assuming. We got them to good. Eleanor says, letting out a giggle. Bentley growls loudly. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. What movie are we watching? Justin asks. Bad Boys. Let's get on the couch, Christian says. The guys break into a wide smile while Allie and Evelyn roll their eyes. We all make our way back on the big couch. Christian and I lay in the same position as before, my head listening to the rhythm of his heartbeat. He wraps his arms around my torso, his fingers making circles on my stomach. Warmth overwhelms me and I snuggle myself even more into him. About an hour into the movie, my head starts to hurt from all the flashing lights and I let out a wince. What's wrong, Leah? Christian asks in a whisper. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeline Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I'm just starting to get a bit of a headache. I reply nonchalantly. His face froze in concern. Do you want to go back to my room? Or do you need Advil? I didn't want to leave right now. It's so nice to be all together, and I will forever cherish these moments. If you have Advil. Yes, please, I reply. I slowly lifts me up and gets off the couch to get Advil. Everyone looks at him questionably. She is just getting me some Advil, I clarify. They all nod and resume watching the movie. Christian returns quickly with a bottle of water and Advil. I gulp them down and he sits back on the couch with me. He pulls me onto his lap and I curl into him, resting my head in the crook of his neck. He wraps his arms around the small frame and plays with my hair. My body relaxes instantly and even my headache begins to fade a bit. "Thank you," I mumble out. He kisses me on the head and continues to play with my hair. Soon enough, Bad Boys was finished. We were all pretty tired, so we decided to call it a night. "Good night, guys. Thanks for coming," I mumble out, leaning on Christian in my sleepy state. He wraps his arm around my waist. "Good night," they all say as they get on the elevator. Once the elevator closes, we turn towards Bentley and Eleanor. Well, Bentley with a sleeping Eleanor in his arms. We bid him good night and make our way back to Christian's room. "If you'd be more comfortable, I can sleep in another room," Christian offers as we walk into his bedroom. "No, don't worry about that. Come," I say, collapsing on his cloud-like bed. He chuckles and follows me to the bed. He pulls off his shirt before collapsing on the bed beside me. I turn to him and start to trace my fingers along his chest. I hear a small growl from him. He catches my hand and pulls me into him, his lips roughly coming in contact with mine. Our pace quickens as our tongues collide, dancing between the walls of our cheeks. Christian pulls me underneath him and lets out another growl, his hands trailing down my waist, finding my butt. His lips leave my mouth and trail down to my neck, leaving kisses at every inch. Suddenly he stops and looks up at me. His eyes are dark black. He lies back down on the bed and pulls me into him. "You are the best thing that's ever happened to me, Amelia," he breaks the silence, my breath hitching at his words. "And you, Christian, are my gravity. You've brought me back," I add. "Before coming here, I never thought my heart would be whole again. But with him, everything is patched up. If anything, it's stronger now more than ever." Christian plants a kiss on my cheek and I snuggle into him. After a few minutes, we both fall into a soundless sleep. I slowly open my eyes to be greeted by the warmth of the shining sun on my eyelids. As I stretch out on the bed, my hand makes contact with a very warm and toned chest. I glance over quickly. Oh yeah, I slept at Christian's last night. I move my body so that I'm facing him. I admire all his features. I trace my fingers along his face, from his dark wavy locks to his long eyelashes, all the way to his cute dimples. I trace along his sharp jawline, feeling a little stubble, which makes him all the more attractive. He was definitely my type. Moaning, he mumbles as my fingers tracing down his shoulders. He slowly opens my eyes and a wide smile emerges on his face. I retract my fingers immediately. "No, I liked it," he says, gripping my hand to bring it back on his face. I shake my head and pull away my hand. He lets out a small pout. "Did you sleep well?" I ask. He nods and pulls my body closer into him, his head resting in my neck. "How's pancakes for breakfast?" he suggests. "Sounds perfect. Do you mind if I shower first, though?" I reply. Christian slowly lets me out of his hold and I get out of bed. "Sure. I have to go to my office for a bit, so meet me in there when you're done," he says. He makes his way into his closet and comes back out wearing a black shirt and black shorts. "To my audiobook extraordinaire, Madeline Noble, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm." "What time is it?" "The girls are leaving at 3 to go into the city," I ask. He looks down at his watch. 11:30. "I never heard about you guys leaving," he asks questionably. We both walk into the bathroom. "We're going to buy prom dresses," I reply. "Our mates allowed to come?" He says while he puts toothpaste on his toothbrush. "Nope. You guys will see your dresses at prom," I state. He rolls his eyes at me while I brush my teeth too. After a minute or so, Christian leaves me the bathroom and makes his way to his office. I've secretly been excited to try out his shower. I saw so many different buttons and modes yesterday, so I want to try everything out. I wash my body, using all different shower modes. After I apply my coconut shampoo and conditioner and wash it all out, using the last of the shower settings. As soon as I get out, I wrap a towel around my body and blow dry my hair. It takes me a good 20 minutes to finish blow drying it. My now straight hair falls loosely down my back. I apply my facial products and a small layer of mascara. Then, I put on my clothes for the day. I put on an off-the-shoulder black blouse, paired with blue ripped skinny jeans and topped off with black booties. I put all my shower stuff in my bag into Christian's room. I place my bag on the couch and make my way to his office. After passing through doors, I finally find myself in front of the door to his office. I decide to knock, in case he's busy with something. Come in, I hear him say on the other end. I open my door and slowly walk into his office. Christian is sitting on his desk, with a phone in one of his hands, and him writing something down on a piece of paper with his other. I stay quiet and take a seat on the couch facing another window while I wait for him to finish his conversation. Yes, Alphadex, I will make it over to your territory sometime at the end of the month. No, I will not come sooner. My pack is still dealing with a few rogues and I will not leave them if there is still a threat, he sighs and rolls a hand through his hair. He looks up at me and gives me a weak smile. Okay, Alpha. I will see you then. Goodbye. He ends the call and writes some final notes on a piece of paper. Sorry, Leah. This Alpha isn't capable of taking care of his own, Christian says, as he finishes his final notes and gets up from his office desk. What's wrong, I ask. He sits beside me on the couch and kisses me on the cheek. You have nothing to worry about. But there has been frequent rogue sightings at our pack, and the surrounding packs, seen as though this one is one of the strongest. Alpha Dax of the Horizon Pack is asking me to visit his pack for a few days to help him plan for the situation. His pack is about 5 hours away by car, so I can't really get up and leave when my pack is facing some threats, he explains. Nervousness grows within me at the words rogues, considering my track record with them. Oh, I see. You can't do video calls for now. I recommend. He sits there for a moment thinking about the idea. I suppose I could. That way he isn't completely defenseless until I make my trip in a few weeks. I'll send him a quick email about it now. Great idea, Luna, he says and flashes me a wink. He pulls out his phone and finishes the email within a few minutes. After the tapping of his fingers on his phone ceases, he turns my way and grabs my hand. He gets up from the couch and leads me out of his office. You look beautiful today, by the way, he says as we enter the kitchen. You look pretty handsome yourself, I reply, grinning. I take care of mixing the batter together and Christian cooks them on the stovetop. They grab a plate and stand behind the island, Christian says suddenly. I comply and make my way behind the island. Suddenly, a flying pancake that Christian must be flung from the pan comes flying in my direction. I lunge forward and catch the pancake before it falls on the ground and let out a nymph. Great catch, Christian compliments, chuckling. I get off the floor and place the plate on the island. My turn, I say, and I run over to the pan. I cook the next pancake while Christian prepares himself across the island. And 1 to 3, I say in a little accent. I turn to see the pancake flying in the air and land perfectly on Christian's plate. Woohoo, he says while he takes his first bite. I sit down on one of the island stools and join him. I've always wanted to do that, he states. I let out a giggle. Now it's our tradition. The crazy pancake flippers and catchers. I reply, still giggling. He nods in approval and scarfs down another pancake. After Christian eats 7 pancakes, and I eat 3. We clean up the kitchen, where Bentley and Eleanor. I ask is Im wiping down the last plate. At pack training, Christian replies, you guys train all together? Yep, it's pretty fun actually, he explains. Well, why aren't you training? If the entire pack trains together, why isn't Christian there? I'm the alpha, so I can't always make it to run the pack training since I have a lot more work to do. Also, I'm with you today, he replies. I don't want to keep him from his duties. I'm a big girl, I can handle being on my own for a bit, or I'll even train with them. Go get changed. You shouldn't be missing out stuff like this for me. See him, and I say, grabbing his hand, dragging back to his room. Christian throws on a pair of blue training shorts and a black top. I decide to stay in my outfit, seeing as I've already showered and blow-dried my hair. After he finishes getting dressed, we make our way into the elevator. You will not be training with the other werewolves, Christian says as we're descending the elevator. Why not? I did already shower today, so we'll probably watch for the most part. But if I'm going to be a part of this pack, I want to at least try to be as strong as them. I reply, werewolves are physically stronger and faster than humans, and they heal a lot faster too. They could hurt you easily and I won't allow that. We both get out of the elevator and I cross my arms as we walk through the house to the training grounds. Oh, you won't allow it, Christian. I understand you're worried about my safety. But I think that with my years of training I can sense my own limits, I reply, with a hint of coldness. I'm really starting to like him, but I will not allow anyone but myself to decide what's best for me. Fine, but you only train with me. Jackson, Bentley, Justin or Evelyn. Werewolves act a lot on emotions, so if you make one mad, they may forget you are merely human and attack. I trust them the most around you. Okay, I guess I can compromise to that. Okay, Chief, I say enthusiastically. We walk along a field, where there seems to be hundreds of people running in groups, working out and even sparring. As soon as we walk on the field, everyone stops what they are doing and turn to us. All the eyes on me freaks me out a little, and I creep a little behind Christian. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. They all say as they bow down to us, baring their necks. Okay, this is something new. What the hell, why are they bowing down to us as if we're royalty? Good morning, Don Pride. Continue on with your training, Christian says in a voice that is completely different from his own. This voice is low and super authoritative. A shiver runs down my spine when I hear him. As everyone starts to look away and trains again, Christian looks down at me and sends me a reassuring smile. See him on. In running the sparring exercises today, Christian grabs my hand and leads me over to a place where there's tons of blue mats and people fighting. This I may be good at. Dad has always taught me how to use my body type to my advantage. Good morning, Christian. Amelia Justin says as we walk over. I can't seem to keep my eyes off everyone sparring. They move insanely quick and I can tell with all the noises how strong their jabs really are. I hear the voices of Christian and Justin in the background, probably talking about training stuff. Amelia, I feel Justin tap on my shoulder. What? I say, looking at them. They both let out a chuckle. Do you want to see what your alpha can do? Justin says, looking over at Christian with a smirk. What do you mean? Looking over at Christian too. Normally when I come out and train, my pack members try to spar with me. I just got challenged. I wanted to see if you wanted to stay here or come watch, Christian explains. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilban, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. You'll come watch. Maybe you will get your ass kicked, I say, giggling. Justin's face seems shocked while Christian only lets out a smirk. I think you do need to see what your alpha can do. My dear Leah, you are the only one who has ever brought up me losing a fight, Christian replies. What the hell? Is my boyfriend some type of assassin or something? He grabs my hand and leads me to an empty blue mat. I sit on the ground a few meters away while he goes to take off his shirt. I'd have never lost a fight, Angel. Not in human or wolf form. My pack is known for their strength in battle, therefore as alpha. I must be the strongest there is, he says as he steps on the mat. I see 3 men walk towards the mat, but instead of only one of them go on the mat, all 3 get in a stance against Christian. How is 3 on 1 fair? Thank you, Alpha, they say and bow. Christian nods and turns towards me. Amelia, let us know when to begin, he says, still flashing me a confident smile. I don't want to see him get hurt and his odds aren't very good. Yeah, Christian is tall with a lot of muscle, but the other 3 men are tall and fit to go. I say, Oli. As soon as I gave the word, the 3 men pounced on Christian. Christian ducked, missing the first guy's right hook. The poor guy landed flat on his ass behind Christian. The second brown-haired guy jaded Christian in the leg, while the third blonde guy went for a right hook in Christian's face. Watching this, my heart rate speeds up dramatically. Right before Christian receives the blonde guy's right hook, he grabs his hand and flips him over his head. The poor blonde guy lands off the mat and bows to Christian. The first guy finally gets up off the ground and jumps on Christian's back, trying to get him in a headlock. Christian grabs him off his neck and swings him in the way of the second brown-haired guy. Both men fall stumbling. The first guy bows to Christian, but the second guy gets up and runs Christian's way. He throws a punch at Christian in his ribs and Christian winces a little. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. Christian throws right hook after left hook in the brown-haired guy's ribs. After a few jabs, Christian wrestles the brown-haired guy to the ground, and he taps out. Christian literally just beat 3 full-grown men. Is my boyfriend the Hulk or something? See, Angel? Nothing to worry about, Christian winks at me. The 3 men slowly get up from the ground, rubbing the bruises forming on their bodies. Christian walks my way. In calling you the Hulk now, I don't want to train with you. You'll kill me. I say wide-eyed. Maybe Christian was right after all regarding different strengths between humans and werewolves. I would never throw you to the ground like that, nor would I throw a punch. Amelia, I would never lay a harmful hand on you. I knew those men could take it and heal fine. That is why I fought them with more strength. You are my little human. I would solely teach you techniques, allow you to practice on me, he explains. He goes over to give me a hug, but I back away. Sweaty, I say, putting my hands in front of him. He pouts and plats a quick kiss on my forehead. I spend about an hour watching Christian fight everyone he goes up against effortlessly, all while even giving them pointers. It's amazing to see this new side of Christian. It's like I'm finally seeing him in his true element. Finally, he fights the last person and he motions for me to get up to follow him back. You looked really happy there. You seem like quite the respected leader around here. But what's up with all the bowing, I ask as we make our way back to the house. It's a sign of respect. By bowing and showing their necks, they submit to me. Basically, their wolf has establishes that I am their leader, he explains. Wow. I could never see humans ever adopting his kind of behavior. Imagine bowing down to Donald Trump. That's interesting, I say. We walk into the house and make our way to the main kitchen so Christian can grab a drink. To my agent extraordinaire, Madeleine Nilben, heartfelt thanks for your unfailing patience, enthusiasm. I need you to look at these cameras for a minute. A random guy comes into the kitchen. They both stand in silence for a moment. I presume they're talking to each other in their heads again. I'll be right back, Angel. Stay here, Christian says. He kisses my head and hurries off out of the room. I decide to pour myself a glass of lemonade and play games on my phone. Suddenly I hear more commotion, and a few guys that look around my age walk into the kitchen. Did you hear Tyren Ennis throwing her? One boy stops talking as he glances at me. His friends turn my way too. A new unmated female. Damn, you're a gorgeous sweetheart. In Rider, one of the guys says, flashing me a cringe-worthy smile. I saw her first. Hey, sweet cheeks. In Damien, another guy with short blonde hair says, this is hella awkward, OMG. I reply with a forced smile. I don't want the people here to hate me, so I have to bite my tongue for those comments. Babe, if you need a place to stay, my bed is always free. A third guy says. They all walk towards me. In good, I say bluntly. Oh, a challenge. That's okay. The easy ones are never good in bed anyways, Ryder says his hand traces my arm. Back off, I say. More affirmative this time. If Christian's right, I can't fight off werewolves. They all let out a chuckle. It's okay, baby girl. We only bite a little, the blonde-haired guy says. I move to get up off the chair to leave the room, but the guy's only close in on me. Were you trying to go, beautiful? We're just... Suddenly one of the guys is interrupted by a loud growl coming from the doorway of the kitchen. I look up to see Christian. A black-eyed Christian. I look back at the boys. Frightened shock written across their faces. Go on, boys. What were you saying about your Luna? Christian says lowly. gritting his teeth. His body is so tense he looks like he is about to blow up. Alpha. We didn't know Ryder spoke up, stuttering in his words. Christian walks right towards the boys towering over them. Should I find you talking to any woman the way you have talked to your future Luna ever again, you will face 3 weeks in the cells. He grits out. A month's sketch and duty. Add 5 laps around the territory for the disrespect you have shown to Amelia and myself. I'm sorry Luna, all the boys and run out of the room. Christian pulls me into him and I crash on his bare chest. His face nuzzled in the crook of my neck while his arms are wrapped tightly around me. I still hear low growls and rumbles coming from him. Christian, I'm okay. Breaking the silence. His body tenses once more. If I wasn't there you wouldn't have been. You should be safe inside our pack. He grumbles. I pull his head away so he looks at me in my eyes. I am safe. If they would have stepped any closer I would have yelled and someone would have came. They barely seem older than me, Christian. They're just at your young men. I say as I'm running my fingers through his hair at the neck of his neck. He closes his eyes for a moment and reopens them. I'm greeted once again with my favorite pair of blue eyes. Mine. Christian growls as he pulls me closer again. I guess he needs me to calm him down a bit. Eventually he releases me and grabs my hand to make our way up to his floor. Was everything okay with the video cameras? We've been sitting in silence the whole way up. The guard thought they saw rogues on our border. It was only some foxes, so all was okay, he replies. We finally get off the elevator and walk into the living room and kitchen area. Do you mind if I use one of your computers to continue my essay while you shower? I ask Christian. He nods and leads me to his office. It takes him a moment to clear some files off his desk and he pulls out another laptop and places it on the desk. This is my school one. The password is 1234, he says, as he sets up the computer. I hope you have better passwords for your other computers, I say in a giggle. He only returns a smirk and a small glare. I use password as my password for the rest, he smiles. I snort and roll my eyes. As soon as the laptop is ready I take a seat at his desk. I feel so professional right now, I say jokingly. He lets out a chuckle. I'm going to go shower. Please stay on this floor. Bentley and Eleanor should be returning shortly, he says as he walks out of the room. Okay, so now let's write an essay on Hamlet.